All right, Mattis Center here. We're going to talk a little bit about dowsing. I'm going to try to teach you about dowsing for earth energies, as well as give you some tidbits and some suggestions to improve your dowsing and exercises you can undertake. Now, I dowse primarily for earth energies. You can dowse for water, which I also do and I'm paid for. I can dowse for metals. I can dowse for whatever. Dowsing rods can also be used for yes or no answers. I work with what is primarily what are called L rods, and they're a shape of an L. You can see like this. There's the L right there. And I hold them in my hands like this. Now, these have what is called a sleeve, and they can swivel. I like the ones with a sleeve. I like them because I dowse for vortexes. When I get a vortex, it can tell me this is a vortex. I can dowse for imprints. It gives me an imprint. So it's much more versatile. But it is very sensitive. And the first thing about dowsing, you need to hold your rods and practice holding them. Just hold them in your hands like this that you feel comfortable with. Some of them don't have sleeves, some of them are thick or whatever. Thick rods work well in windy areas. But you can do a lot of different things with a pair of L rods. Practice holding your rods. You need to spend a lot of time holding your rods so that the rods become an extension of who you are. You don't want to be thinking when you're dowsing, well, how do I keep them upright? How do I do that? You want them parallel to the ground, the L ports, or slightly pointed downward. It does not matter, but that's the range you want it. And you've got to get used to them. Bent arms, walking around. So you're walking. You don't want to be thinking about your L rods. You want to be focused on your purpose and your intention. Now, to find something, to look for, what dowsing rods do is they can help you find something. They can also give you yes and no answers, like a pendulum. People swing a pendulum around. But the dowsing rods can give you a yes or no answer. And I have yes for me is when my rods open up, no is when they close. So those are one of the things that you can do to, the movement, but you need to get at. Now other people might do that they close for a yes and they open up for a no. It does not matter. How the rods do, what the rod movements are unique to you. Make them just set up a specific pattern or movement that you identify with yes or no, okay? Now, one of the things to do about when you dowse is to try to keep it to a small group of people. You don't want to group with a large group of people. You'd rather keep it to a small group of people and people that can dowse. There's a group think effect that can happen when you get together with a group of people. Read about group think, it's online. And you get this collective psyche that permeates the whole group of people. If you're with a group of people that really don't dowse well, then you're going to pick up that we don't dowse well. You'd rather keep it to a small group or handful of people that are learning to dowse, not a large group, or be with people that know how to dowse. All right? Now, the other thing is that these rods, never let anyone else use your rods. The rods are your personal property because memories attach to everything. That's why people create prayer stones. They pray and pray. That memory of prayer attaches to the stone. Give it to someone. They pick up on it. So your rods are your rods and no one else's. You don't want to pick up somebody else's stuff. Now, when you begin to dowse, it's all about the intention. What is the intention of what you want to do? So you begin to ask questions. Where can I find drinkable water? Where can I find an energy line? Those are the questions. Some people will tell you that dowsing people, there's a fellow, Sig Lonergan, a well-known dowser. I believe he's the one that created an idea that you should ask for permission. May I, can I, should I, before you dowse. You can do that if you want. But most importantly, you need to be focused and concentrate on what you want to think. And one of the tips I give you about becoming a better dowser is to focus on concentration. Learn how to concentrate on something, because when you begin to concentrate on something, you merge with it. When I was trying to get into samadhi, I practiced a Hindu technique of focused concentration on an object. I dedicated it to a particular flower. And after I grew in my perception, my meditation over and over again, the flower began to reveal stuff to me. Things about it that I had no idea, couldn't find in a book. That was because I was merging with that flower, and it revealed itself. That revelation, that connection which you want to develop with the object of your dowsing. So if you want to find out, you want to merge, you've got to be able to concentrate water. So and then when you get the rods in hand, the best thing you've got to say is which way. Which way is the clear white rod? There it is, the white stake. Which way is the red? I'm over here, and I go, which way is the striped one? It goes over here. So your rods will point in that direction. And again, yes and no questions are dependent upon how you make a preference. This to me is yes, this to me is no. It could be the total opposite. Now, if you're going to be pointing the direction you want to do, let's say then you go, okay, what happens when you get near the object? And this is where, again, my rods will open up like this. Other people might close. Other people might go. It doesn't really matter. It's your own personal preference. But whatever system and knowledge you develop, just stay steady with it and don't keep changing it, because you want to make sure that your rods are talking to you and doing things like that. So that's what I would suggest to you. And again, get a little rod like this, say, where's the wood? Or get a copper pipe. Or get like a garden hose and turn the garden hose, say, where's the water? And then go through that and go from that. And the other thing I tell you is do not have electronics around you. Do not have electronics, because electronics mess with the geomagnetic field. And I know people say, I love my cell phone. Well, I tell you, leave your cell phone at home, or at least turn it off, because cell phones screw with the geomagnetic field, their microwave radiation. If you look at bees, if there was a research done, you can look at it online. A bunch of students down at, I think it was at Stuyvesant town, or I think it may have been the Bronx Academy for Sciences in New York City. They found out that if you kept a cell phone in a beehive for 15 minutes twice a day, the bees would either die or disappear. Homing pigeons, other sorts of animals are affected by cell phones. So if you're trying to connect to the geomagnetic field, don't have your cell phone on. But anyway, the most important thing is just practice, practice, practice. You're going to become a better dowser becoming a practice. Develop that intuition self, and go from there. It'll take some time, but you can become a really good dowser if you stick at it and you take some suggestions, I say. Thank you for your time. Namaste!